Sawadee-Kap IRPC Management, welcome to the IRPC Get to the Top and Stay at the Top session. Although I'm not a Y generation, I thought it's a good idea to digitize a little bit our proposal. The main reason is I wanted to give you the opportunity to hear directly from our clients what they say about our RTS approach and about McKinsey. Before we do that, let's step back a bit on history. When we did many years ago together Phoenix, the main objective was to give a direction to the company. The direction was to get an integrated petrochemical player based on a strong feedstock basis. After all the investments you did and also the successful Delta program you launched some time ago, IRPC is now in a position to take the next step. The next step is to get to the top and also to stay at the top. But this will be not so easy. We did an analysis of about 3,000 industrial companies, and what we found was quite interesting. Number one, if a company is a bottom performer, about only 11% make it to the top. Secondly, if companies are at the top, only 58% maintain the top position. So if you do the math, this means the likelihood of success of a program bringing to the top and stay at the top is about 6%. By pure statistics, that the program we are looking for has a likelihood of success of only about 6%. This is why we suggest to IRPC to take the McKinsey RTS approach. So why is it so difficult? The answer is very simple. We need to balance performance and health. Performance defined as growing the company, make it profitable. And health is defined as building the capabilities, building the leaders, but also changing the mindset of the organization. To combine both and balance in the right way, this is the reason why we suggest IRPC to leverage our RTS approach. So, what is an RTS program? A RTS program is a very structured approach to drive both performance and health. It consists of 5 unique elements. Number 1, the top-down phase. Here, the overall aspiration is set like a private equity company in a due diligence process. The second phase is about developing initiatives with the organization to achieve the overall target. The third phase is all about implementation and executions based on the breakthrough project organization. All these 3 workshops are supported by the so-called health streams. There are 2. Number 1, it's about change management, building the capabilities, building the leadership skills in the organization. And secondly, it's all about the performance management, which consists of tools, processes, meetings, and so on. This group was recently founded within McKinsey and is purely focusing on these transformation. We have applied in about 80 situations globally in different industries quite successfully. To execute these programs, we hired hundreds of senior executives into McKinsey who were former COOs, restructuring officers, or also implementation officers. And these people were quite essential for us to help transform companies in a successful way. So having talked a long time about RTS and McKinsey, let's try to understand what it is in detail. For that reason, I brought with me Eric Thompson from our RTS group. Eric, thank you for coming and also joining the session IRPC Get to the Top and Stay at the Top. Why don't you not introduce you quickly?
Thank you, Thomas. Sawadee-Kap. My name is Eric Thompson. I'm a partner in McKinsey's Recovery and Transformation Services Group. I've been working in the region for about 20 years and have held a dozen interim CEO and CRO roles, including 3 in Thailand, one of which was the CEO of G&J Steel. Since I've been with McKinsey for the last couple of years, I've been the Chief Transformation Officer of the largest oil and gas business in Australia, where we help the business take out $450 million of costs, and we have line of sight to $1 billion of costs.
No, Eric, thank you very much. That is quite impressive, what you have done also before McKinsey. One question is, when we do these programs with the clients, what do these clients say? What do you think about McKinsey?
Well, We've got a lot of examples, and we've chosen a couple that we'd like to share with you today. We've done over 80 of these around the globe, as you mentioned earlier, and we chose 3 that we thought would be very relevant to the company that we're talking to here, IRPC. The first one is Caltex. Caltex is a business that is similar to IRPC. It is an integrated refiner and also has a large retail operation in Australia.
And Tabula Rasa's changed what we do in Caltex quite significantly. I think it's focused us on the ability to drive for stretch. It's given us a tight, disciplined process. It's given us a sense of pace and doing things quickly, and it's given us a focus on what's really important if we're driving improvement in this business.
For me, it's a game changer for the business. What it's done is given clarity and purpose for what we do and the initiatives we bring to the table.
I had the best 9 weeks ever on bringing this project here together. It was a very strong team that we worked with. We were well engaged with all stakeholders, and we had a really strong product at the end to deliver, which just doesn't stop there. It becomes our business as usual, and it's just part of how we are today.
One of the key things I've seen is the quality of people that we see coming out of Tabula Rasa. So what I see is people like Peter Clock or Lisa Mason who've moved on to fantastic new roles or are in the process of doing so. I think that's a testament to the capabilities they've both been able to demonstrate through the opportunities they're given in Tabula Rasa, but also the skills that they've gained while they've been in those roles.
Tabula Rasa has allowed individuals that otherwise may not have had the opportunity to shine to actually come to the fore by making them accountable and responsible for projects and giving them visibility, certainly myself, to senior leaders.
So at Lytton, one of the bigger teams that got involved with Tabula Rasa was our engineers, and a core group of them of about 5 that worked on the bottom up, which was pretty intense. And I've seen them shift to being far more action orientated, get in and get it done and moving on.
Tabula Rasa for me has just been a fantastic opportunity. It's been really an increase in visibility. It's really helped improve my skill set, so problem solving, facilitation, negotiation, leadership, influencing.
So being relatively new to Caltex, one of the things I've been really impressed by in terms of Tabula Rasa is the way it brings a structure and a discipline to the way we follow through and execute on great ideas. So not only is it giving us a platform for identifying ideas, but one of the key things I see is it actually takes those all the way through to driving value to our bottom line.
Caltex is definitely a different place today prior to the launch of Tabula Rasa. I think there's a lot more of an entrepreneurial spirit in the place. In the past, something taking 3 years was just accepted. If it took 3 years, it took 3 years, and now you find people saying, why can't you do it in 3 months?
So some of the initiatives that we've implemented in the last 12 months were ideas that we've had for years. But because of the impetus of TR, it took a week, and we were making $2 million a year in energy savings on a crude heater.
20 years ago I was trying to work out how to minimise dye in gasoline, and it's probably taken us 20 years to get gasoline out. But the advancement we've made in the last 6 months to get from, I don't think you can do that, to leading the industry is pretty impressive.
One way in which Caltex feels different from when we started Tabula Rasa is the feel I get when I come to 2 Market Street. There aren't separate floors with separate business units. I see a lot more interaction with people. I see a lot more interaction with senior leaders, with each other, with their teams. And that's something that I think that's come through TR.
I've seen a number of cases where teams have brought ideas to Tabula Rasa that's required support from other groups. And I think by bringing those teams together, they understand each other's business better and therefore can drive more value for Caltex.
We're moving towards a more one Caltex model. And what Tabula Rasa has done is actually has forced us to work across silos.
I think the sponsors are really engaged in the program. They make time every week, despite their busy schedules, to come to the TOs to understand the progress of initiatives. They're very aware of what the initiatives are and who the people are who are leading them. They seem to know their teams really well and the status of what's going on, where resources are needed. They ask challenging questions to try to push things further, and really interested in recognizing people who are doing a good job.
Caltex feels very different, and it needs to continue to evolve in that feeling. I don't think we're anywhere near the end of the journey yet. We've started to adapt. We haven't had McKinsey people in our TOs for a few weeks now. We're running them well, but we need to be able to continue to grow those capabilities and continue the challenge and develop the expertise in being able to ask the hard questions and come up with new solutions.
For me, it does feel a bit different. I think it's a more confident organisation that it can deliver around what it says it's going to do. It certainly is a more commercially focused organisation. I think it better understands the challenges that we face in the future, but it faces those challenges with the confidence that it's got the capability and the skill set to be successful.
It's allowed people to shine, and it's put pressure on people where they've said, well, maybe that's not for me, and that's also healthy for the organisation. So I think the organisation is fitter, we're more nimble than we were before, and we're able to take opportunities that we otherwise wouldn't have had.
I think in the past we would see problems as being too difficult, so we wouldn't touch them. And I see now a desire for more people to really challenge the status quo, to really try and line up all options and take quite a solid problem-solving approach to any issues that we do have, and really work collaboratively to try and drive the best outcomes for Caltex.
Yeah, this is very relevant to IRPC because the businesses are very comparable. One question I have is about the government link, because also IRPC is linked to PTT and PTT is linked to the government. Are there any constraints in applying RTS to those companies?
It's a good question. Many of our clients have asked, does this work in a certain region? Does this work with a certain industry? Does it work with government or family-owned businesses? We've seen that it works everywhere. Let me give you an example. I'll show a quick video here in a moment, and this is from New Zealand Telecom, which is government linked, used to be the monopoly in the country, and we worked on this engagement through RTS very successfully.
Well, we've seen the RTS team turn up, and it was a bit of a leap of faith in the promise of the model, but the promise has been delivered on. The people I've seen turn up are undoubtedly world-class people.
It is different to potentially a consulting project or program that you might have seen in the past, and that's the first piece. It's not really a project or a program, it becomes part of how you do business.
This model of skin in the game, fast-paced, swing in, swing out coaches is a very powerful model.
McKinsey will always bring you aspects of benchmarking, understanding how to think about your business differently. I think the enhancement with RTS is the performance cadence that comes with it and the speed in which you get to some of the outcomes as a result.
The pace at which we're getting through each part of the process, the clarity of the messaging that emerges from that is very different.
Yeah, this is quite relevant. So we have refinery similarities, we have also government-linked companies. So what happens if a project is over? Usually when we finish a transformation, it's because we've helped people build capabilities and leadership in the organization. The performance is working well and it's time for us to move on. But we've had a situation, which we'll show you an example of, with Sandeep Biswas. Sandeep was the division lead of Rio Tinto's owned Pacific Aluminium, where he used RTS very successfully. He then became the CEO of Newcrest Mining, one of the largest gold mining companies in the world. And the first thing he did was call RTS. So we're very proud that in some situations when executives move, we get called again.
I just got the feeling that maybe they can give a little bit of an edge, an angle that I needed to really change the culture and the way we looked at Pacific Aluminium.
It's just a business, but it feels much bigger than that. The pace of execution was relentless. The difference was this is now, this is not tomorrow, this is now. Since we finished the first quarter planning review, we've hit plan basically every month. First time in a decade.
The plans we submitted in April had FTE targets for 2016 2017 that we had achieved by the time we got to the Q3 forecast. So what we thought we could do in 5 years, we've pretty much done in 6 months.
If we thought back a year ago, what could we actually achieve in 12 months? No one would have predicted that we could have done such a great job in turning the company around at this point.
That was quite impressive. So what I learned is that we have cases from the refinery industry, government linked, and even repeat users. They are successful there and they take it somewhere else. So thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
Yeah, that concludes also our short overview on what is RTS and getting to the top, staying at the top. I hope now we all have a little bit more trust that this program helps us in the odds from 6% to maybe 100% to achieve the transformation. With these words, I would like to close our session, getting to the top and staying there, with some of the reflections from the restructuring leader from Siemens Nokia Networks, what he thinks about RTS. So thank you very much.
We turned around a company which lost 6 billion in 4 years, within 1 year. And without McKinsey, it would not have been possible.